everybody, and welcome to this special on Mars transiting in Cancer. And remember, all my interpretations are based on Vedic constellational astrology, which differs from Western astrology and is based on where the planets and the luminaries, which are the sun and the moon, are at any given time up in the sky. So this year Mars enters Cancer on the 20th of October. Then Mars goes retrograde while still in Cancer on the 6th of December until the 31st of December at 37 minutes past midnight. Then Mars enters out of bounds in Cancer as well. And I'll do a separate audio on Mars in retrograde and Mars out of bounds. So yeah, so today I'm talking about Mars in Cancer. So first I'm going to dig into the holistic astrological meaning, the practical, financial, political and worldly, materialistic, social, collective meanings of Mars in Cancer. Then I'm going to go into karma, relationships, aspects, all that good stuff. You know me by now, I like to go deep. So yeah, so first I'm going to start off by talking about what Mars and Cancer energy represent in astrology. So in astrology, Mars represents assertiveness, action, motivation, desire, representing the warrior spirit that drives you to go after your goals with passion and determination, whether that be a career goal or a relationship goal or exercise goal. Cancer energy is deeply connected to our emotions, nurturing and our home life. So when Mars and Cancer merge, come together, we may experience a dynamic interplay where our ambition and motivation drives meet our intuitive and protective instincts. So this, synergy can inspire us to fiercely defend our loved ones or creating safe spaces emotionally for ourselves from the outside world or anyone who's hurting us right now. And we can channel this energy into caretaking, looking after others and emotional support, rather than just being aggressive for the sake of it or conquesting others, relationships for the sake of it, or just doing things for the sake of it, So yeah, in mythology, Mars is associated with the god of war, the Roman god of war that is, and this embodies strength, courage and battle. And Cancer is linked to the nurturing figure of the crab, and this symbolises sensitivity and protection. So yeah, taking all of that into account, when Mars does transit in Cancer, it wants us to explore how our assertiveness can coexist with our compassion, and empathy and self-love and love for others and sharing and kind of being polite and nurturing and all that good stuff, and going within yourself as well. So yeah, we may prioritise our well-being and domestic harmony over being competitive. We may want to take charge in personal matters, stand up for family needs or family members who may be neglected or underheard, or just stand up for yourself and just address unresolved emotional, psychological and spiritual issues. So ultimately, when Mars is in Cancer, if you just want the summary version and you don't want to listen to anything else, it wants us to blend our fiery ambitions with a gentle touch, nurturing a supportive environment that can lead to both personal and community, family, relationship growth. So yeah, when Mars transits through Cancer, we find that our emotional undercurrents wants us to really, really look after our home life. And our home life is what's going to dictate our actions and our words right now. It wants us to nurture our loved ones and ourselves, but we also have to assert our own needs as well and not fall into people pleasing behaviour and just neglecting conflict for the sake of it, because ultimately it will all just brim out over the surface and be a lot worse. So it's better to tackle issues head on. So because we can feel an increased sensitivity at this time, We may, self-reflect on how our emotional responses shape our assertiveness. And as we navigate through this period, the challenge is balancing our drive for achievement with a desire for emotional security, and it pushes us to explore how these two aspects of our personality can, coexist harmoniously. So practically, it wants us to, increase our awareness of our emotional foundations or lack of them. Do you ignore your inner world, your emotions, your psychological and spiritual needs? If so, why do you do that? Also, some of you may want to focus on improving your home. So this can be your physical home, maybe buying new duvets for your bedroom or, decorating and stuff. But this can be your inner world by going through, your psychological and spiritual and emotional traumas, and just looking after, your fears, your phobias, your secrets and stuff like that. And it's a time where you just may find yourself more attuned to your inner emotions and seek ways to strengthen your emotional foundations for greater stability and resilience as you face life's challenges during this time, but in general, because a lot of the time, life will always be lifing, and the best we can do is just know how to navigate when it does that. So in terms of how Mars in Cancer can affect our finances, on the individual level and in terms of businesses, there can be fluctuations in financial markets due to increased emotional reactions, and this can, influence our investment decisions and our ability to save. We might spend more on nurturing ourselves, with our favourite treats, foods, comfort, streaming services, or whatever it is you comfort yourself with. So savings could go down at this moment, or emotions can get in the way of financial decisions in terms of, you may make a risky investment. So just try and stay as stable as you can. But this is a really good period to focus on real estate investments or home related expenses, spending your money on your house, your bedroom, as I said, your kitchen, or any other area of your house, your garage, whatever. Additionally, some of you may feel compelled to prioritise financial security and stability during this time, and this can lead to cautious spending habits and a desire to save for the future. So it's advisable to pay attention to emotional influences on your financial decisions at this time, and to seek stability through practical planning and actions. If you're feeling psychological and emotional and spiritually unstable, try and deal with the root cause rather than just paste over it by spending too much on alcohol or drugs or anything else. And just be careful, because this energy can make you overspend due to imbalances in your emotional life and stuff like that. Politically, because of the increased emotional sensitivity and the focus on domestic issues, leaders and policymakers can respond by being more passionate about public sentiment and opinions, particularly around topics that resonate with the collective emotional state, and it can push policies that prioritise social welfare, family support and community well-being, and we may observe grassroots movements gaining momentum as we kind of rally around each other and share kind of like emotional causes, and this can lead to changes in government and priorities and funding. And it can also create an environment where emotional, leaders can just emotionally try and get us at their emotions, and try and be like, because we all care about the children and we should all vote this in because of the children, pulling on our kind of heartstrings. They can be more compassionate with the way that they talk as well. And we can just see a rise in advocacy for issues related to housing, education, healthcare, and, security security and stability, and it just wants us to sort of like, you know, politically try and do the right thing. Also tensions due to opposing factions, you know, different parties and stuff like that, using emotional narratives to, you know, kind of push public opinion in one way, and this can result in polarization where, you know, one side of, you know, a nation's like, no, you know, we need to be tough, we need to not give people housing and free healthcare, and then the other side could be like, no, we need to give them free healthcare and education needs to be improved and all the rest of it. So now I'm going to talk about how Mars in Cancer affects us on the worldly, materialistic and social collective level. So yeah, as I said earlier, because we can just feel more motivated to, you know, obtain or stay in our security and find stability, consumer behaviour towards products and services that offer comfort and assurance may, you know, see a surge in demand, especially for home-related industries such as interior design, family-oriented services like streaming services, maybe takeaway, stuff like that. People may want to buy real estate, you know, move home, stuff like that as well. People will prioritise their living environments and seek to create a nurturing space. So for the majority of people, this will be done externally, but for some people it'll be their return home, getting more stable within, you know, lessening the inner critic or inner critics, or the voices, the negative ones, and trying to deal with the root causes of those voices and instabilities and fears and self-doubt and stuff like that, and prioritising self-love, forgiveness and understanding, respect, esteem and awareness and acceptance. Also socially, you know, we may want to sort of like share food and experiences with our friends. You know, we can notice people wanting to create social safety nets, you know, giving to charity, being more supportive, you know. Collectively, we can just focus on the sense of unity and shared purpose, highlighting the importance of interdependence and addressing material and emotional needs, so people can just be more giving, more open. On the social level, even down, you know, the local club or pub, you may have deep and meaningful conversations and all that going on. People may be nicer in the supermarket queues, well, we can hope, you know. So yeah. So now I'm going to talk about the psychological, spiritual, esoteric, symbolic and emotional meanings of Mars in Cancer. So psychologically, because we can be more emotionally sensitive, we can respond more deeply to the feelings of those around us, and this can lead to an increased awareness that can create an understanding of our own emotional needs and the emotional needs of others. Psychologically, as I said, it wants us to prioritise self-care, healing and personal growth, and helping other people and being vulnerable and supporting others who are vulnerable as well, because we can just feel more of a sort of like urge to protect ourselves and others and nurture ourselves and others as well, and we can just, you know, really want to sort of like be more you know, empathetic. And also on the individual level, it wants us, as I said, to tap into our inner strength and transform it into caring actions and empathetic responses to ourselves and others, because a lot of the time we use that inner strength to block our emotions, you know, and ignore everything that's not logical. But Mars in Cancer really wants us to tap into those you know, emotions, and Mars gives us that stamina to be able to, you know, really tackle and go deep and confront the things we may have buried within ourselves on an emotional, psychological and spiritual level for years, and our instincts for emotional connection and support can become just more pronounced, as I said, and this can help us establish a stronger bond with all the different traits of our personalities and with other people as well, and we just can be more drawn to activities that express our nurturing qualities as well, such as volunteering, caregiving, or simply being present for friends and family, or even strangers at the bus stops, or in the supermarket, as I said earlier. And it really just wants us on a psychological level to embrace being vulnerable, and this can lead to a deeper, richer, more meaningful relationship with ourselves and others as well. In terms of the emotional and creative meanings of Mars in Cancer, creativity can really do well at this time, as we can feel inspired to explore artistic outlets that reflect our emotional experiences and use creativity to work through our emotions as well, whether it's through writing, painting, music, dancing, gaming, tai chi, yoga, whatever. Tapping into your feelings can serve as a powerful means of self-discovery and expression, and we may just find that our motivations are intertwined more with our domestic life and just want to bring more emotional security into our lives as well. So projects that involve home improvements, family gatherings and creating a cozy environment can take on a new significance, and the focus on nurturing our immediate surroundings can allow us to channel the energy of Mars into constructive and meaningful plans, reinforcing our sense of belonging, which is needed, and emotional stability, which this transit really wants us to gain through doing the work, not ignoring emotions, putting them to one side, but actually going deep within ourselves as well and sorting out our family and relationship and friendship issues, and I'm going to talk more about those later on. If we tap into this energy on the creative, emotional level using creative techniques to work through our emotions, this can lead to more personal happiness and also a strengthened connection with our roots and heritage as well. So on the symbolic level, it wants us to protect and defend our vulnerabilities and take decisive actions that safeguard our emotional well-being. So as I said, we're encouraged to recognise and embrace our vulnerabilities rather than shy away from them. This can mean standing up for yourself in a personal relationship or setting boundaries that protect your inner world, or as I said, standing up for others. Our instinct to defend what we hold dear becomes a powerful motivator, while Mars is in Cancer for quite a while. so yeah, Mars is in Cancer for a good near enough 4 months, right up until the 20th of January 2025. So we got a good while, because it's going to go retrograde and then it's going to stay in retrograde, but it's going to move into Gemini, going to stay in Gemini for 3 months, then go back into Cancer for a while, then move into Leo. So yeah, I'm going to talk all about that in separate audios anyway. So symbolically, it wants us to defend what we hold dear, as I said, and it ignites a fire of loyalty towards those we care about and ourselves, and it pushes us to take action in our own and other people's defence, but in a subtle, nice, nurturing way, assertive but calm with it. So it wants us to just be courageous and supportive, and it increases our ability to channel into the nurturing energy and create safety and comfort in our surroundings, and balance taking action with being emotionally and psychologically and spiritually sensitive as well, and just be blessed. So esoterically, it wants us to, dig into our emotional and spiritual and psychological experiences, as they can serve as like a wellspring, a water flow for our creative plans. And as we explore our feelings deeply and, turn them into expressions that resonate with both ourselves and others on the esoteric level, it also, on the esoteric level, wants us to take action based more on our intuition, and inner guidance, rather than just pure logical aggression. And it's also important to be mindful of potential mood swings or passive-aggressive behaviour that can come up from the clash between Mars's assertiveness and Cancer's emotional depth, and find a healthy way to express our emotions and assert our needs effectively. And as we sort of like engage with creativity, we can discover new dimensions of our emotional self and create a deeper connection to our own inner truth and increase our own, well-being. So that's always good, right? Also, spiritually, because this energy wants us to navigate the delicate balance between being vulnerable and assertive, we may struggle with passionate desires and ambitions right now. Do we make love or do we go to work? So sort of thing, So ultimately, it serves to remind us that while it is important to, assert ourselves and go after our goals, a gentle approach can create deeper connections with others and understanding in relationships. We are programmed to compete, in this capitalist world, but we're starting to get more socialist and seeing the pitfalls of the dog eat dog mentality. And by balancing the two forces of ambition and nurturing, we can cultivate emotional intelligence and resilience. And by embracing our feelings instead of repressing them, we can create space for healing and growth. And we may discover that by acknowledging our vulnerabilities, it can strengthen our emotional foundation and it can empower us to be more authentic. And the balance between aggression and being receptive, open, is a powerful lesson in harmonizing our inner drive, motivation with the nurturing aspects of our nature. And this can lead to a more, fulfilled and integrated approach to life, which is always good. So now I'm going to talk about the aspects that Mars makes when he goes into Cancer. And this energy is going to last us right up until the 4 months that Mars is in Cancer and flavour the whole period. So first we've got the moon making a semi-square to Mars, and this is at a 1.28 applying orb, so this affects us strongly. The sun makes a square to Mars, and this is 3.5 separating, and Mars makes a sextile to Uranus, and this is 2.7 applying. So when the moon sextile squares Mars, it can add to the inner conflict between our feelings and actions. It can make us more impulsive and feel frustrated over things, and our emotional needs can clash with our desire for assertiveness. So we just need to pay attention to how these feelings manifest over the 4 months, as they can influence our interactions with others. And of course, when Mars moves retrograde in Cancer, this energy will be turned more inward, but it just wants us to, just question, why are we getting angry, So also the sun makes a square to Mars, and this again adds to the challenges that we can face in, reaching our goals right now or in our personal projects, and it wants us to reassess our goals and strategies. It adds to the tension, but this tension that we get, is pushing us to confront obstacles and work with them and take decisive action, And Mars' sextile to Uranus brings innovative thinking outside of the box energy, pushing us to embrace new ways of doing things, new ideas, unconventional approaches, and it can really just provide us with creative solutions to our problems and give us a willingness to break free from routine. So this makes it a good time to pursue new ventures and make bold changes in your life. And by channeling this dynamic energy of Mars is sextile to Uranus, we can make significant life changes and gain breakthroughs in our life, even in areas we've been stuck for years. Also, Mars makes an opposition to Pluto. This is 5.27 applying. Mars makes a square to Chiron. This is 3.14 separating. And Mars makes a trine to Neptune. And this is at 3.32 applying. So Mars's opposition to Pluto brings power and control issues, and also adds to the deep-seated issues that can arise in the emotional, psychological and spiritual issues I talked about earlier. It can add to us struggling with the intense motivations and desires of ourselves and others, and there can be confrontations with other people for dominance and control as well. But ultimately, the best use of this energy is to use it to transform whatever it is you're working on and embrace your personal empowerment by confronting your fears. But we just have to also watch out for jealous behaviour, obsessiveness, manipulation, because this energy can stir up conflicts with others, so just adding to the conflicts that can come up anyway. And Mars is square to Chiron helps us with our assertiveness, self-expression, and the ability to go deep within and re-examine our past hurt. So a lot of aspects, a lot of this energy is really wanting us to go into. That's the theme: go within yourself, build more resilience. And the trine to Neptune supports us with being more intuitive, digging into those 12th house secrets and spirituality and mysticalness of the world, using our creativity and our compassion to guide us to achieve our goals and support others with their goals as well, and just aligning with our deeper values and needs as well. And it just helps us really to have more grace and purpose. But negatively, as you know, with all Neptune energy, and it's a trine as well to Mars, we may be led into our drug, alcohol, any other addiction. So we just need to be mindful of that. Try not to escape. I know it can be hard when we've been having habits for years and years, but if we are prepared to take daily steps, we can recover from whatever we need to recover from. And if you are in a recovery journey, well done, keep on going on with it. Mars also makes a trine with the ascendant and also semi-square with the midhaven. So Mars is trine with the ascendant and brings self-confidence, especially in the way we present ourselves to the world and our personal goals. It gives us that added charisma, and it really supports us in standing up for ourselves. So this is really is a potent time, because a lot of energy is supporting you, doing what you need to do, and create, forging meaningful connections and expressing your individuality effectively. And Mars is semi-square to the midhaven, brings friction to our career or public image. People may try and get in our way, but the tension that happens is just like showing us how much do we really want to change, how much do we really want to achieve our goals. And we should use this to navigate and our obstacles, and balance the need to achieve with our external responsibilities and expectations of others as well. And to navigate this energy effectively, we have to balance being assertive, being diplomatic, respecting other people's needs while asserting our boundaries as well, and just being mindful of the conflicts and misunderstandings that can come up while we're dealing with the public, whether it be our co-workers, our bosses, or whatever. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about what a T-square is in astrology and the positives and negatives of a transiting T-square. So a T-square in astrology is when 3 or more planets. Normally some people count points. I will only count a point such as the moon's north node if it was like conjunct a planet like Venus at the same degree, something like that in a T-square. I wouldn't necessarily include it on its own. So yeah, a T-square is when 3 or more planets form a right-angled triangle in a transit chart, and this configuration involves 2 planets being involved each other, creating tension, and a third planet squares both of the opposing planets, and this is why it's called like a T square, because it looks like a T. And the positives of a transiting T square include increased motivation for growth and change, opportunities for self-awareness and transformation, and the potential for breakthroughs in difficult situations. It can act as a catalyst for personal development and push us outside of our comfort zones. Negatively, we can struggle with decision making due to the conflicting energies. We can experience a heightened emotional intensity, leading to stress or anxiety and challenges in communication and our relationships. And it can also kind of bring eternal conflict to some of us as well, because of the external obstacles that come, or the internal thoughts of unresolved psychological, emotional and spiritual trauma that can come up. And dealing with these issues internally or externally that come up can require patience and resilience to overcome. So yeah, also at the time of Mars going into Cancer, there's 3 T squares that involve Mars in Cancer, the Sun in Libra, and Pluto in Capricorn. So a nice cardinal T square there. And then Saturn in Aquarius, the Moon in Taurus, and the Midheaven in Leo. And then we've got Chiron in Pisces, Mars in Gemini, and the Sun in Libra as well. So these help us with emotional intensity and power struggles, can also be added with these T squares, but they activate our inner drive and motivation, and this is what we need to know. And it just supports us with going after our inner security and taking those steps to get what we want. The second T square, again adds to the conflict between our desires for stability and our goals and the need for recognition and achievement, and it supports us in building or rebuilding a firm foundation while also finding personal happiness as well. And the third T square, and it just supports us to gain more self-awareness and deepen our connection with ourselves and others. So a transiting yard is also known as the finger of God in astrology, and this aspect is formed when 2 planets are sextile, so that's 60 degrees apart, and both of these planets make a quincunx, which is 150 degrees to a third planet. So 2 planets sextile, both of those planets make a quincunx to another third planet, or planets if that third planet is conjunct to another planet. So yeah, so this creates a narrow egg-elongated triangle shape in the transiting chart. And a transiting yod can increase our awareness of our purpose or calling. It can give us opportunities for growth and transformation, and it's a potent energy that really allows us to break free from old patterns that no longer serve you, and or habits, so it can act as a cosmic push towards self-discovery and personal development, and this can lead to a deeper understanding of your true path in life. It can bring about unexpected blessings or connections that push you towards your goals. But negatively, it can sometimes be overwhelming energy, confusing to understand, or the push and pause, because the quincunx is a struggle, so you push and pull. You've got 2 planets that are like, yeah, we love each other, and then they make this quincunx to the third planet and they're not loving each other as much anymore, so it requires us to confront deep-seated fears and insecurities, and it can be challenging and emotionally draining. It can also, as I said, be confusing, leading to uncertainty and doubt about our choices and which direction should we go, and all of that as well. And also, the challenges triggered by a transiting yod can disrupt our existing routines and our relationships, and it can just cause internal turbulence and changes. and it's essential to approach this energy with an open mind and a willingness to embrace change as resisting transformation, whatever it is that comes up, what, at the time of a transiting year, whatever comes to your attention. You may be like, oh no, I don't want to change, but resisting the change can just lead to extended feelings of discomfort and stagnation, just staying in the same old routine. So the yard's like, okay, I know this thing has been comforting, or these things, and maybe you needed these things at one stage in your life, but now it's time to let go and move on to something new. So yeah. Also, there's a yard that involves the Sun in Libra, Neptune in Pisces, and Uranus in Taurus as well. And the Sun represents our core identity and motivations. Neptune represents our spiritual insight, inspiration, and the things we keep hidden, secrets and such. And Uranus brings unexpected shifts and awakenings that challenge our traditional ways of doing things and sense of security and emotional and spiritual and psychological fulfillment. So it pushes us to and supports us to be more creative, redefine our personal boundaries, assert our individuality within our family and our other relationships as well, supports us with being more intuitive. Yod energy really does this. We may have to change several times a day, but if we go on with it, it allows us to explore new paths and gain a deeper understanding of ourselves and our desires, which is really good. And it just pushes us to step outside of our comfort zone while not forgetting too much of our emotional foundations, like our roots, our heritage. Do not throw the baby out with the bathwater, which means sometimes we grow up with a religion, we're like, oh, this is all rubbish, but sometimes we forget to take the good that can come, because a lot of good is mixed in with bad, if you want to say there's good and bad. So it's about taking what resonates with you, even as you do research and stuff like that on spirituality, psychological techniques to help you and all of that. Take what suits your temperament. So yeah. Okay, so now I'm going to talk about the karmic meanings, the lessons, and what type of past life memories can come up when Mars is transiting in Cancer, as well as the collective karma that we'll be dealing with. So in terms of karmic themes, learning how to assert our boundaries in a compassionate manner is a big one. Also, addressing unresolved family issues and emotional, psychological and spiritual wounds, as I said, and finding constructive, productive ways to release your pent-up emotions and trauma as well. It really wants us to be mindful of our actions and reactions and our words, because Mars in Cancer can intensify our emotional responses. We can just be a bit aggressive, or touchy, moody, swingy, so we just need to watch out for that. It's important to deal with any deep-rooted problems that come up by doing the work to heal them step by step. Some of you will start or continue that work, or you may finish it during this transit, but it is the ongoing lifelong work. But it allows us to find more healing and closure if we're willing to work for it. And it also reminds us karmically to be patient, especially in our communication, and to try and put ourselves in other people's shoes. And the key lesson is to find a constructive way to nurture ourselves, focusing on caring for ourselves and others with empathy and compassion. And in terms of past life memories, we may find ourselves more tuned into our subconscious mind and memories from our past lives, because Cancer is water energy connected to that spiritual aspect of ourselves, and we can have memories and dreams that revolve around our childhood experiences or feelings of security and belonging. We may feel a strong pull towards exploring our ancestry, nurturing others and revisiting unresolved issues related to our home and family dynamics. It's essential to pay attention to these memories or dreams as they offer valuable insights into our current emotional patterns and relationships, and it's important to pay attention to these insights as they can provide valuable guidance for personal growth and self-discovery. And also on the collective level, we may just be more sensitive, so just need to give each other grace and empathy, and we may find ourselves more, willing to acknowledge the connections from past lives and stuff and contribute to the healing of ourselves and others. And if we embrace these lessons, we can just feel more empowered and willing to overcome obstacles. So collectively, karma related to boundaries, taking care of others, finding healthy ways to channel our emotions, looking at how we protect one another, how we treat the vulnerable in society, how we treat the vulnerability within ourselves, how we create safe spaces for others to express their emotions, how we facilitate each other in having a sense of belonging, or how we get in the way of each other getting a sense of belonging, and how we support each other, how we deal with compassion, how we deal with our emotions. We may be dealing with a lot of pent-up emotions on the collective level, so we have to learn to express our anger or passion constructively, in ways that facilitate healing and growth. Ultimately, collectively, it draws to our attention the importance of setting boundaries and taking care of our emotional well-being, and just looking after our sensitivities and feelings. So now I'm just going to go in depth and talk about how Mars in Cancer affects our family relationships, friendship, co-worker relationships, committed relationships, hookup relationships, and single and self-partnered relationships as well. So in terms of our family, again, because we can feel a desire to protect and care for each other, we can have more family togetherness, and this is good. But negatively, the emotional undercurrents can lead to misunderstandings as we have different expectations, and unvoiced feelings surface. Can be like, I thought everything was good, and someone would be like, no, I've been holding this in for decades, sort of thing, and we just have to have empathy, practice active listening, which is listening to actually listen to the sort of energy, because a lot of the time people can say lots of words, but if we actively listen and their body language, we can get to the tones. They may come across as angry, but when we really listen, we can realise they're just hurt and not angry really, but anger is masking their hurtness, their pain. So if we have more empathy, we can sort of repair our whatever issues come up. But if we don't, we can just reinforce rifts, so what we really want to do is strengthen the bond. So we want to create safe spaces. Also, we want to watch out for passive-aggressive behaviour, slamming the dinner down on the table, slamming doors in general, just all that sort of thing. A lot of us may retreat into ourselves as well when disagreements come up in the family and withdraw from the family, and we just have to recognise this tendency of people who may withdraw in our family, may be a bit depressed, and try and support them or get them help as well, and try and facilitate a space where they feel comfortable to say what they really want to say. And by engaging in family discussions and focusing on understanding and validation, we can migrate tensions. We won't always agree in every point, but validating, I understand where you're coming from, and I understand you may feel like that, but this is how I feel, and trying to compromise. And this can help for healthier resolutions and deeper connections if we're willing to see things from each other's point of views. In friendships, again, we can build meaningful connections, again offering support, but we have to be mindful of the tendency to take on excessive emotional burdens. We may overwhelm ourselves with trying to help people too much. The best form of help is giving people people the tools to help themselves. Also, the increased sensitivity can lead to us misinterpreting intentions or feeling offended by perceived criticism or slights. Someone can say something and you may think, they're being horrible to me, or they may say something and you may think they're declaring love, and they may not be romantic love, and they may not be doing that. So just ask questions to gain clarity and create open dialogue so we can address grievances openly as well, and this can strengthen the bond. And it also allows us to have more growth in our friendship as well, so mutual care and vulnerability, and being more attentive, and recognise the importance of setting and sticking to healthy boundaries and navigating the ups and downs of friendships, and recognising when to step back from a friendship that feels overly demanding can empower us to engage more positively. And as we embrace this period with a focus on empathy and self-awareness, this can lead to profound growth, enabling us to develop relationships that are both supportive and fulfilling. In terms of, workplace interactions and how relationships with co-workers and bosses are affected, emotions can run high at this time. It wants us to be more understanding and empathetic, and share, personal experiences with each other, which can create a sense of team togetherness. However, on the negative end, because, everyone can be really sensitive right now, misunderstandings can come up and constructive feedback can be taken more personally. So it's essential to approach discussions with care to avoid, inadvertently triggering defenses in others. And what we want to do is tap into that protective and supportive energy that helps us uplift each other in our teams, and help each other with additional responsibilities. But help others, but make sure, you look after yourself via healthy self-care as well, because, the nurturing instincts of Cancer can blur professional boundaries, and this can lead to overextension, doing too much. So it's important to set clear boundaries while also being supportive as well. So again, it's just going back to helping people in the right ways. Have compassion. Someone may be going through grief and stuff. Of course, if you can take on more of their workload, do it, but ensure that you're not sacrificing your own well-being in the process as well. But ultimately, this energy can help you create deeper connections with your co-workers. In terms of committed couples, because it allows us to be more vulnerable and supportive as well, we can find that our partner's needs and emotions become more significant to us, and we may be more nurturing and comforting in our behaviours. It emphasises the ability to put each other in each other's shoes and being compassionate, and this can create deeper intimacy and more of a safe space for open communication. But negatively, we can also have more conflicts, because emotions can escalate more unexpectedly, and disagreements can just go out of control, and we can react more irrationally rather than rationally, and this can lead to more misunderstandings, and this can lead us to becoming defensive about our relationship or about our own personal self-expression, because we can perceive any threat or criticism as a personal attack on us, and this can drive us to react strongly and put walls up instead of addressing the underlying issue. So it's important to practice patience, honesty and respect as well, and to say sorry when needed, but also to stick to your boundaries when needed as well, and just to acknowledge each other's feelings and validate your partner's experience. So this can help you with emotional turbulence as you emerge with a stronger bond. And the key is to balance our emotional responses with constructive communication. and this is key to overcoming conflicts and increasing our connections with our partner at this time. So in terms of singles and those who are self-partnered, it wants us to reflect deeply on our emotional needs and desires. It encourages you to explore your inner world, pushing you to connect with your own feelings and intuition. You may feel an increase in motivation to nurture yourself and establish a sense of security within, which can lead to personal growth and self-awareness. But the increased sensitivity may also make you feel vulnerable to feelings of loneliness and insecurity, causing you to crave companionship even more intensely, and may lead you to reckless hookups and stuff like that. So just make sure you're seeking connection in healthy ways to avoid hurting yourself in the long run. It's also important to balance the desire for connection with self-care and, reinforcing your self-worth and independence through self-care at this time as well. Specifically for those who are self-partnered, it wants us to increase our sense of self-love and acceptance, and this can empower you to engage in creative pursuits and home-based activities such as drawing, singing, dancing, gaming, reading, researching, podcasting, content creation that bring you joy. But negatively, moments of self-doubt or longing for external validation can sort of increase your emotional intensity and give you more self-compassion, and it wants you to understand that it's normal to experience ups and downs during Mars in Cancer, and if you embrace whatever comes up now, you can create a stronger relationship with yourself while preparing for future intimate connections with others. In terms of hookup relationships, because Mars represents passion and sexual desires, and Cancer is known for its emotional sensitivity and nurturing qualities, positively, we can have deeper connections in hookup relationships, leading to more intimacy and understanding between partners. There may be a stronger desire for comfort and security in these encounters, which can lead to more meaningful experiences. But negatively, when Mars is in Cancer, this can increase our moodiness and sensitivity, making partners more prone to emotional conflicts or misunderstandings. Communication issues can come up due to increased emotions, and this can lead to disagreements and tension. So it's important to make sure that you're mindful of each other's emotions and communicate openly, and just make sure you're honest as well. Don't promise that you love someone and you want to be with them if you don't. And I sniggered there, but it's not really a laughing matter, but yeah. Okay, so now I'm just going to discuss how Mars in Cancer affects career, personal, spiritual, educational and self-partner development. So in terms of career development, again, it wants us to tap into our intuition and personal values. When making career decisions, we may feel a stronger urge to work in environments that create a sense of family or community. So it's essential to navigate these emotions wisely, as they can push you forward in your career path or create significant roadblocks. Also, you may find yourself thinking outside of the box more in your career, and it stirs up creativity, so you may find yourself drawn to projects that resonate with your personal experiences or aim to support others, creating a sense of purpose in your work. But also, the increased sensitivity can also lead to impulsive decisions based on emotional reactions, which may undermine your long-term career goals. To use this potent energy effectively, focus on your emotional insights and use them with a pragmatic approach to your career. So balance those, being pragmatic and being emotional, and ensure that your professional plans are both personally satisfying and strategically sound, because some of you may just get a bit crazy In terms of personal development, it wants you to evaluate your personal goals and desires and align your actions and words with your inner self, what you really want to be, rather than the expectations other people tell you to be. And you may feel inspired to confront past emotional wounds and insecurities, and this can push you toward healing and self-acceptance. However, it's crucial to be mindful of potential self-sabotage or mood fluctuations that can stem from unresolved feelings. So it wants us to seek deeper connections with ourselves and others, and if we prioritize building a supportive network and engaging in activities that increase your emotional intelligence. Negatively, the increased sensitivity can make you, prone to insecurities or, defensive reactions. So we have to balance these energies by, practicing self-compassion and setting healthy boundaries, and, embrace the opportunities for growth while remaining aware of the emotional challenges that come up. In terms of spiritual growth, it wants us to dig deep into our feelings and intuition and connect with our inner self on a profound, deep level. And we may find that meditation, journaling and creative expression can allow us to process and channel our emotions or psychological and spiritual wounds more productively. And this self-reflective journey can lead to significant breakthroughs in our understanding of our spiritual paths, guiding us to embrace vulnerability as a strength rather than a weakness. But on the negative end, because of the emotional turbulence Mars in Cancer brings, we may just have conflict between our instinctual responses and the desire for more emotional and spiritual security. So it's essential to develop a sense of balance and, do things that ground you, hugging a tree, walking on grass, meditating, painting, drawing, whatever it is that grounds you, listening to heavy metal for some of you, reggae, dancehall music for some of you, and, ultimately spending time in nature or connecting with supported loved ones or professionals can increase your spiritual resilience and allow your spirituality to grow in harmony with your emotions. And in terms of educational development, it brings a sort of nurturing approach to learning new things, encouraging us to engage with subjects that resonate emotionally. We may find ourselves drawn to topics that relate to family, history or psychology, and as your curiosity leans towards understanding the emotional aspects of education, this can lead to a deeper connection with studies, increasing your ability to absorb and retain information. But negatively, the intense emotions that this transit brings can manifest as anxiety or self-doubt about your academic capabilities and your ability to learn new things, and you may struggle to express your ideas clearly or just feel overwhelmed by the pressure to conform. So it's crucial to recognize these feelings and use them as motivation for growth rather than obstacles. For some of you, developing a supportive network, whether through study groups or mentorship, can provide the emotional reinforcement that you need at this time so you can grow in your educational activities despite the challenges that come up. In terms of self-partner development, we may find ourselves focusing on building a deeper emotional connection with ourselves and others, and this allows for a greater understanding of our needs and desires, and helps us with our self-reflection and just do things that promote self-care and processing your emotions and creating more self-acceptance. In terms of the negatives, because we can be emotionally sensitive, we can get in the way of our growth right now. emotions can run high, causing us to second guess your worth and shy away from asserting your needs. So it's essential to navigate your emotional waters with empathy and patience, and recognizing that the discomfort you experience can serve as an opportunity for inner growth if you allow it, and you can build more resilience and a more loving relationship with yourself, and increase your self-partner development. So now I'm just going to finish up with the best things for creatives, professionals, entrepreneurs, alternative healers, single and self-partnered, and what you should do at this time. So again, creatives should explore new art forms and experiment with different mediums. Professionals should focus on nurturing relationships with colleagues and clients to create a supportive environment. Entrepreneurs should strategize new business ventures or re-evaluate current ones. Alternative healers should focus on self-care practices to maintain balance and emotional well-being during this time, so they can serve their clients at the best of your ability. Lovers should deepen their emotional connections through meaningful conversations and quality time together. Singles should use this time to reflect on their personal growth, and self-partnered people should prioritize self-love and care. So now I'm just going to go into the questions you can ask yourself when Mars is in Cancer, and the rituals that you could do. So you can ask yourself if your current financial decisions are supporting your sense of security and comfort. Also consider whether your spending habits reflect your core values and whether they contribute to a nurturing environment for yourself and your loved ones. By reflecting on your financial situation, think about how it influences your emotional state. Are there patterns of anxiety or stress associated with money that you need to confront? And as you dig into your spiritual needs, think about whether you are nurturing your inner self and developing a sense of self and purpose. Are you engaging in practices that create spiritual growth, such as meditation or connecting with nature? Also, in terms of your psychological health, you can ask if you're allowing your emotions to flow freely, or are you holding on to past grievances and wrongs? In terms of your physical needs, are you taking care of your body in a way that promotes health? And are there lifestyle changes that you need to make to support both your emotional and physical well-being at this time? In terms of the holistic self-care rituals that you can do, as Mars in Cancer wants us to build emotional resilience, we can do grounding practices such as gentle yoga or Tai Chi, which not only promote well-being but also help you connect with your body and emotions. And you can incorporate ritualistic activities like journaling, creating art that allows you to express inner feelings and release pent-up energy, creating music or poetry. Also, you can nourish your body with wholesome comfort foods that further anchor your sense of security at this time and promote a deeper connection to your physical needs, and also help you with your inner nutrition. Make sure you're taking enough vitamins, getting enough minerals in your food and stuff like that. Psychologically, mindfulness meditation or breathwork meditation can help you develop awareness and acceptance of your emotions. If you allow yourself to process your vulnerabilities that come up, especially those related to your family and home life, this will really be beneficial. Spiritually, using visualization or intention setting ceremonies can help you manifest your desires for emotional safety and stability. Rituals that honor your lineage, your sort of culture and stuff like that, such as creating an ancestral altar or lighting candles in their memory, or anything else that resonates with you, can help you build a stronger connection to your roots, your heritage, and create a sense of belonging and inner peace at this time. So overall, the positives of Mars in Cancer increases our emotional sensitivity, intuition and nurturing instincts. We can feel more connected with our loved ones and ourselves and find motivation to do things by exploring our emotions. Negatively, the moodiness and passive-aggressiveness and the tendency to hold on to grudges can get in the way of us achieving our goals right now, and so we just need to be mindful that we try and let go. Resentment, bitterness just really takes away from the richness of life, but I know it can be hard to get out of. The best use of this energy is to be creative, improve your home, spend quality time with yourself or family, and to just be at one with nurturing in healthy ways. So yeah, that's the end of this very in-depth special of Mars' transit in Cancer. I'm Amani, your holistic astrological life coach. Take care and see you next time.